shit's in the safe. Got me a spot out the way. Nigga just tryna be safe.
Let's get to sports talk.
Back snub from the Pro Bowl.
Believe it or not, I think it might be Krik Cousins. Minnesota Vikings are 10-4 this year. They're in position to win the NFC North. They're a game behind Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. But when you consider that, ever since his apology, let's just think about this here. They were 2-2 at the time of the apology. Since that time, they're 8-2. Okay, you look at it from that perspective. They've got victories over the Philadelphia Eagles. They've got victories over the Dallas Cowboys. They've got victories over the Chargers, the Lions, and all that. What I'm saying to you is Kirk Cousins completes 70% of his passes, 25 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions. Oh, by the way, a quarterback rating of over 111, if I remember correctly. Thielen was out for a few games as well. He's been in and out. Stephon Diggs wanted to get traded. Suddenly he doesn't want to get traded. Thielen's talking about we got to pass the football. Suddenly you can't pass the football. Dalvin Cook is an absolute stud, but he's been played.
He should have got a Pro Bowl selection. The first half of the season, it was kind of up and down. You could see all the miscues they would have on the field as a unit. Then, after he apologized to them, that second half, he started putting up Pro Bowl numbers. So he did get snubbed. He should have got a Pro Bowl vote and to be a Pro Bowler this season. Because he had a Pro Bowl year. I don't see how he didn't get voted in.
By that shoulder injury, and still, they just keep trugging along. And when you combine that with the fact that Drew Brees missed about 5 or 6 games, we all know that Drew Brees is a stud. We all know he's spectacular. We know how we feel about him. I just finished talking about that yesterday. But we can't get away from the fact that the man did miss about 6 games or so. Kirk Cousins hasn't missed any games. They're 10-4 in a position to be in the postseason. And when you look at a top 3 quarterback in the NFC from a Pro Bowl perspective, of course there is Russell Wilson. You can't ignore that. And Aaron Rodgers, you can't ignore that either. But I can make a legitimate argument that even more so than Dak Prescott, the guy that beat him head to head, Kirk Cousins, might deserve that nod.
I don't think anyone got snubbed. I think they got it right. If I had to pick one,
because the Vikings is 2-2. They 10-4 now. 1 game behind the Packers. If they defeat the Packers, they're top of the division. He deserved the credit to be able to get into this Pro Bowl, but he didn't. He had a good year this season for them. The team playing good around him, and that's why this team in this position to be able to pass the Packers.
I got an interesting one for you. Again, I'm not arguing this, but if I had to pick one, Jimmy Garoppolo. In the old days, I brought up Tom Brady earlier. Garoppolo right now is virtually identical to Tom Brady before he got Randy Moss. Now, Brady, you could argue, well, they were winning Super Bowls. That's Belichick. Let's see what Garoppolo does, by the way. First time he's healthy for a full season where he really has a shot. And look, his team only has 3 losses. And each of those losses, though he's pointed to as the weak link, each of those losses, the defense gave up a score on the final play. He didn't have a chance to win the game. When he's had a chance to win the game, like that pass to George Kittle, he has. And his 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions are, not amazing by today's standards. His QBR top 12's not amazing, but actually kind of like in line with Brady back then. He was in the Pro Bowl in 01 and 04 and 05, and Brady would give you like 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 26 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, but was on a winning team and making big plays at the end of games. And by the way, those big plays were usually getting the greatest field goal kicker ever just in position to kick a field goal and relying on the defense. I'm just saying, Garoppolo didn't get snubbed, but you want me to make an argument for someone? Maybe a guy who's captain.
They ain't give it to him because of them 11 interceptions. It ain't, back then, this is a whole new era how they running it now. That's why he didn't get in, because of them interceptions he have on his resume. Yeah, he have a full season. His team is 11-3. It's just because of that.
One of the best teams in the NFL?
Well, here's what's wrong.
Aaron Rodgers should be the quarterback that we take out if we're going to take out a quarterback. And yeah, he has been great at not turning the ball over. And I was watching, when I was talking to Stephen A. and you guys on Monday, Stephen A. held the bad man for so long because now he's in so much better shape after the shoulder injury. You know, I was listening to that and I was like, yeah, man. But I watch Aaron Rodgers and it's not the same. And Matt LaFleur was supposed to come in and do some things creatively and innovatively that would open things up for him. But even when there are guys who are wide open, things we're used to watching Aaron Rodgers just drop the ball right in the right front shirt pocket, he's not doing that. Balls are falling short. He's skipping balls off the ground. That's not what we're used to. And he's protected the ball well, but it's still only 24 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. And now we look at Drew Brees, who did miss 6 games.
Only what?
That's why he in there. Don't take a quarterback out that got 24 touchdowns and only throw 2 picks. That's why he's in the Pro Bowl. That's a Pro Bowl season right there. And his team is first place in their division.
24-2. Yeah, the protecting the ball is great. So, but listen, I'm talking about compared to what the same thing you have for Carson Wentz and the way that he once was compared to now, Aaron Rodgers is much the same. He protects the football, but also we go back to last week, there's a ball he throws down the seam. It's not interception because Aaron Rodgers did a great job. It's because the dude tried to catch it with his forearm. But when you look at Krik Cousins, this team has the 3rd best point differential in the league since the apology, right behind the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers. When you think Drew Brees, though, and taking him out, he missed 6 games, but he's at 21-4. And I'm going to show you what happens, and this is what happens when we go to vote for the Pro Bowl. We look at the sheet. We don't have all the QBR. We don't have all the stats. We think about to ourselves, how do I feel when I walk into the stadium? And when you walk into the stadium and you stand across from Aaron Rodgers, even though he's not the same, you still get a certain feeling. When you stand across from Drew Brees, you still feel a certain way. And I don't think Krik Cousins has made it to that point where we feel like that. I know for sure Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't gotten there. And I believe Dak Prescott as well, because we look at his team and look at how stacked the roster is.
Hold on.
And
who is it? Who you arguing
It's
for?
Krik Cousins. Krik Cousins should be in for Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
And he's going to prove it this week when they beat him.
Yeah, because the only reason I was saying is that, to me, whatever aura of invincibility or fear that you're able to instill in opposition, whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, it has to be about what you actually did. It's truly a regular season award.
Yeah.
And we can't ignore it.
And I got to get back to Rodgers. Again, the Brady credit that he gets, somehow that escapes not only Garoppolo, but Rodgers. Rodgers, the whole thing is, can he captain a team, right? This team has good but not great talent on both sides of the ball. They're good. They're not great. They're good. They got 3 losses, and there was a minute where he looked like the MVP. He's not, but like
this is what I want from you. This is what I want.
Touchdown
You made
interception
the point.
ratio.
Actually, Molly made the point about Jimmy G. I believe it was that.
Because the year he having. If you look at it, the Packers only got one guy that he could throw to, and that's Adams. They thought Jimmy Graham was going to be the same. No. They still got that one wide receiver that he go to. Most of them touchdowns went to him. It's just how he's playing this year. He having a good year. He only threw 2 picks. And that set the bar for everything and made everyone vote him into the Pro Bowl, because that's a Pro Bowl numbers that he's having.
The defense that they scored on the last play. One of you said that, right?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers went to Los Angeles and got housed by the Chargers, who aren't good. They went to San Francisco and got housed by them. You can't be the Aaron Rodgers he's supposed to be, and when your team is in some sort of deficit because the other team is playing better, and not bring them out. That hasn't happened to Russell Wilson. This hasn't happened to Jimmy Garoppolo. This hasn't happened to Krik Cousins.
He got 3 losses. He got a 24-2 touchdown interception ratio.
Right, but you get housed. Like they got blown out of stadiums.
They got blown out against San Francisco, the Chargers, and he still have a dang touchdown ratio. He have a numbers 24-2. That's why he's still in there. Even though them games right there that he got stopped by the San Francisco and Chargers, he still put up the numbers to be able to get in the Pro Bowl to represent the Packers.
this guy.
This is
We're
good.
calling
I
a
don't
bad
want to
fan.
cut it off,
I'm
but
sorry.
we got to pay some bills. You have the Vikings beating the Packers, and you have
Absolutely.
the Cowboys beating the
Philadelphia
Eagles.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights.